knows what they have in store for us, but right into the draft we go. We already got a lot of the bans through.
Right, a lot of stuff that you would generally just be expecting. I like the Jinx takeaway especially because, you know what, as a player in lane, has been having middling performances.
Shaky.
I think shaky is a good word for it. So I think putting him on the Jhin and where he's actually been able to perform pretty well, I think is great. And you do deny the hyper carry there for Exakick. You do, of course, still, actually you deny both hyper carries. I just realized they both banned Aphelios and Thresh. So we are going to see Exakick dig a little deeper into the pool, and I think I like the Ezreal.
Ezreal might be the play here, and it looks like that's the lock-in. So being able to give Exakick a couple of avenues to be able to kite around, self-peel, excellent for that. But Zuri is up. She is on this patch, 12.2 beatdown. The crowd, I'm sure, already getting amped about it.
Yeah, we'll see if they lock that one in. I mean, they already have an 80 carry, and I really hope Zeri's solo lane stays only in my solo queue games. So, well, that one remains to be seen here. There's a lot of potential options going. I like the Viego takeaway, even though we already see the Xin Zhao coming through for Yike, who's historically really good on the Viego. It is a pretty good answer overall. I think Joko is playing for those later parts of the game, and we even got to hear from the LDLC coaching staff. The way they think they are going to win this game is not doing what other teams do against Solary, and that's letting them scale.
Well, Ezreal, of course, 2-item Power Spike will be able to have a much better mid-game this time around, as we'll see what ends up coming in. Aiko, of course, toying with Scarlet there with the hover on the Xerath, saying, I know what you like to play. And, well, if you want to play it here, might be a little bit more difficult with an Alistar, who might be able to find angles into the back line. But now that we've gotten our Phase 1 picks, we'll see exactly what both teams are looking to take away going in Phase 2 bans.
Stuff. I mean, on LDLC side, you start pinching out the mid pool. Actually, I think both teams will probably pinch out the mid pool a little bit. You do immediately. We're seeing the Xerath, whose respects are being paid. I feel like you do, just because of the fact that you already have the Jhin locked in. That's a lot of range, and that's two of the big things they used to beat K-Corp last week and just bully them when they were 6K down behind. So it makes a lot of sense to get rid of something like that. I like the Gwen pick as well because, one, you need some AP going on the side of LDLC. Ragnar is nuts. On the Gwen, it's going to have to go a different route.
I think Ragnar, period, has been nuts, it feels
That's
like,
true.
Right? I mean, yesterday he was having a little fun, I think, with
that is knockout,
and he was going in, just kind of testing the waters, as I like to say. But I'm sure he's going to be coming into this one with a lot more focus, and if he can get his hands on a good pick, we'll know he'll try and pull it out for us. But Silas, another pinch into Scarlet, a lot of great ultimates. I mean, you always feel the need, especially when there's an Alistar.
That's it right there. You see that Unbreakable Will, and you're salivating as a Silas player, like, yeah, give me that one. So you just want to take that off the board here. Now we're going to see the final ban. It could be another one thrown into the top lane here, just because, I mean, Keo, as of late, hasn't really, I wouldn't say been popping off. I think yesterday he looked good when we saw the Camille come through, and I kind of think that's what we're expecting, especially when you see the Gwen ban, the Jace ban, or no longer being on the table. And unless Ragnar ends up grabbing that one for himself on LDLC side, I think we're going to see Keo play that one again.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And now another hover, of course, on the Zuri in the mid lane, but I don't think it's going to be coming in whatsoever, but we'll have to see. However, it is now going to be a Gangplank, so is offering now a bit of scaling for Solary.
That one is going to be interesting. I think you still can go the Camille route if you want to, but it will be a little tougher than you might think in the side lane later on. Oh my god!
Okay!
The Irelia, we saw Cabochard play it and run it yesterday, or run the show, I should say. I forgot this is League of Legends. And so Keo, a player who, I mean, I haven't seen the carry performances out of him necessarily, but he thinks he can do it.
Yeah, let's see if this is in fact going top. Have to imagine that'd be the case, and now some AP locked in the mid lane here. Scarlet has played this pick multiple times, but how about a switcheroo on the Kassadin? This is a blind pick on the Kassadin as well, beatdown.
Boldness. I mean, with what else is left on the table mid lane, you know you're playing into a mage, so that's why he's okay blinding this one. The Cassiopeia, oh my god, Austin, that is a pick. First time, I think, in the LFL this split, and it's going to be piloted by Aka, one of the best mids we have.
One of the best mids that we have. Has been performing beautifully, and we'll have that matchup, of course, up against Kassadin. Last time Scarlet went rogue with it. He was finding so many moments where he was just 1v2ing, 1v3ing, and we already heard it from the desk where you talked about the fact that you can't let Solary get to a point where they're going to be able to scale, right? Especially now for the Cassidy, because we know what happens when level 16 comes around.
This is the thing that gets a little tough though, LDLC. The other thing the coach ended up saying was that either we're going to stop them from scaling or we're going to play the scaling game ourselves. The problem is, you have Gangplank, you have Cass, that is all well and good, but if we talk about later game, Irelia, Castle win. This is this is a little tough. We're gonna see LDLC, the chips or rather the onus is gonna be on them to be able to, I think, find some value in the early game. And when you think about this jungle support duo here, we talk a lot about Joko and Steelback, and for good reason. But I think in this case, looking over to Yike, one of the best early game junglers we have, Doss, who's been lights out since the season started. This duo are looking to make it rain in the early minutes of the game, especially because Joko will be playing the Viego and just can't have that same impact.
Can't have that same impact. And now that we have all of our champions laid out here for us.
On both jungles. It is just interesting, especially in this case. Yike does play the Viego well, does need that early game pressure so he can sync up with Doss, because when you pick these solo laners that you have the Gangplank and you have that Cassiopeia on the R5, you need to support them as best you can, and all the early game pressure Yike is used to exerting is here and good to go. Again, one of the best early game jungles we have in the league. I dare say the best.
Yeah, that early pathing, I mean, some of those early wards, you want to be able to get down so that you can figure out where are they starting, where are they going.
To know.
And Joko, one of the few players who has opted in for those level 3 ganks.
Yep.
And make sure that he can come down 3 camps in 3 minutes, and you're already like, why is this guy in my lane? I'm not even level 3 yet. Here comes the jungler, but very well that could end up happening. For Yike this time around, the Viego does need a bit more time than the Xin Zhao, at least early. So you will be looking to Yike maybe to set a bit of the tempo, but we will get an idea of where both junglers are starting. It will be on the same side.
Good amount of deep vision. Just overall, giving people the information they need just to know, especially for Yike's sake. Knowing where Joko is in these early levels, what's going to be great, Austin? You're playing Xin Zhao, you see Viego up on the top side. Hey, buddy, how are you? Let's have a little chat. And that's not going to go well for Joko. So I talk about junglers and wanting to see them be more active, be more proactive, I should say, in the earlier parts of the game. Yike is one of those junglers that does this. So in this jungle matchup, in the early levels, LDLC are in a good spot to be able to set up their laners for success. The question is just going to be, will they let Solary scale like everyone else does?
Well, top lane right now, Ragnar is going to make sure he abuses the early levels of the Gangplank. And Keo is just going to have to kind of sit back, wait for this wave to come into him. You already highlighted the fact that Keo has not been one of the standouts so far here for this team. He's taken more of a back seat, but he's not taking a back seat this game with the Aurelia. So it will be, I think, an interesting look at how he's able to perform with it at the moment, as both solo laners are actually going to eat just a little bit of the early abuse, and the early levels you feel like are going to be difficult.
Yeah, it is interesting. Usually, whether it's Cass, whether it is Cassidon, you're thinking to yourself, one of these mid laners usually eat it in the early levels, but they're both the kind of champions that do, so we are going to see that little bit of trading going on here. This is what I'm talking about. Joko is not strong enough to do anything right now, Austin.
No, he is not, and well, all of that early lane pressure has meant that Ragnar gets the shove, Ika gets the shove, and they're going to be able to take away Joko's blue buff.
Already pressure being applied to Joko in this early game, losing out on one of his camps, one of his buffs, as Yike is just going to go walk his way back out. This first clear, he has plenty of camps still to clear on the top side of the map. Don't think he has a gank angle top. He might have one mid, but a well-placed ward from Scarlet is going to spot him out, especially after you see Eiko walking out. You're like, you know what, I might need that ward.
Scarlet just trying to survive the best he can. As long as he goes even in this matchup,
oh yeah, he's
level
laughing.
6 gets a lot harder, especially when Crown starts to come into play. But bot lane, extra kick does get hit there. Unfortunately, Doss with the headbutt, then the pulverize a little bit late, so won't be able to find an effective trade back on the steal back as he goes in.
Happens to the best of us. It's all good. The pressure is being applied. I think that's the point here. The range poke coming from extra kick is something too. Overall, though, this is honestly a pretty good recall timer, just for the fact that you know Joko's probably heading to this side of the map. Whether or not he ended up recalling, which he did, means you end up avoiding a potential gank as well here, which I think is a good foresight from the bot lane of LDLC. At the moment, though, things are really relaxed with Yike getting that iron spike whip on the first back, he's in a strong enough spot where like he can really start to look for some duels, some plays, and that's going to set LDLC up really nicely for that first dragon.
A lot of dragon control typically for both of these squads with the junglers that they have. Love to put priority on it. So we'll see exactly as you frame it up. Will we get a lot of attention down here? Already coming off the reset will be DOS, who's going to start to set up some of that early vision, make sure that they're covering for Ica as he pushes out the mid wave into Scarlet, who still is only level 5, so just has to do his best to stay alive. But DOS level 3 is going to start to move in here with the help of Yike. Just want to put some additional pressure down, trying to figure out where Joko is currently located on the map, as now the call will be made, and Yike is going to start up the Hex Tech Drake.
Yeah, it's perfect. He can solo this while DOS hovers the mid area in case the gank ends up coming through. It should be a pretty easy secure, especially with Ica on the move now. Steelback and Joko not used to this, but they are a little late to the play, it looks like.
All right, 450 on the smite. Joko still has
minute.
time to get here. He comes in, and Joko's going to take it. And now resets are in the mix. Ica in some trouble, has to flash over the wall. So a nice collapse here from Solary as they steal the Drake and find a kill.
Wow, really nice play coming through from Solary. They managed to snag a Drake, snag a kill for first blood here on this Viego. Well, we're accelerating this not so early game jungle very, very nicely on the side of Solary. And this is what you talked about, Austin. Scarlet, he's level 6. He's got some things to work with.
And we'll see it again here one more time. Joko realizes, wait, I think something's going on here over on the Dragon. Let me just swoop on in and take that Dragon and then find the kill as well. Steal back with a nice setup.
Yeah, DOS, he has a good mind to try and see if he can help out his jungler, but soloing, just because he can solo the Dragon doesn't mean he doesn't lose a lot of HP in the process. Yike was ripe for the taking here. So overall, a good start for Solary, who again we talk about later on into the game. They are going to be monstrous. So LDLC going to need to keep up the activity to see if they can try and prevent that from happening. Because right now, not a whole lot has been going on their side.
Slight gold lead now in favor of Solary. Looks like Ultimate did end up coming down here. And Kyo is going to be able to respond, just walk past it, clears the wave. Has now a slight CS lead over Ragnar, but Ragnar gets that additional gold, of course. And now we'll start to see Yike move in. He already took away the blue buff there at level 3. Wants to get his eyes on the red buff, but more or less just deep vision. Don't want to overstep, and they will not commit to the red buff just yet, but they're still sticking around.
You can see they know question mark pings coming through. Exekit calling for help on the play, and either... Okay, they aren't going to take the blast cone. Oh, but the Herald Path. It's going to tell them Joko's down there. They might try and make the play onto him.
Little damage on Exekit, but he's Ezreal while this play takes place. So he's going to be safe and sound, and Joko now going to start to do some investigating with Steelback as they're going to clear out some of this vision, figure out what's going on. We've been missing DOS for a while. Scarlet is eating a bit of damage there. Has to be careful of that miasma. That will stop him in his tracks if he ever gets caught on it. But Joko looking for an angle in. Top lane now, a bit of fighting.
Let's
and
go,
Ragnar
Kyo.
will have to flash away. Kyo with the level advantage, finding some favor. A Scarlet might need some assistance in the mid lane.
He still has the Realm Warp, but he is getting a little low in mana. They still choose not to go for the dive. Instead, they're going to take another stab at a neutral objective, Austin. It's going to be the Rift Herald. Maybe potential showing in that top lane. I mean, you have now the information that Joko is 1 in mid lane, 2, lost half his HP just like that. So this could be the angle that they're looking for here as Yike pulls out the Herald a little bit. You see DOS, he's running interference. The problem is, Kyo's looking to do the same. Yeah,
Kyo is here. Ragnar doesn't have the ultimate just yet. DOS is in, but he's only level 4.
There
back now with a counter engage in the back. That will be the ultimate from Cassiopeia. Good to set up one, but it's traded right back. Still 3-on-3. The True Shot Barrage found a lot of damage, and now the Rift Herald has been secured, but Joko grabs it, tries to get out with his life. DOS is low. Scarlet as well.
Oh, it's turnable.
Re-engage, and Yike has taken down his counterpart. Joko out of the picture, but Ragnar will be able to find one. Maybe even a second. Steelback's on the run, but he'll drop as well.
Yeah, anytime now. He's just buying a little bit. Ragnar's having a little fun, doing a little jig before he picks up yet another kill. Very positive play coming through from LDLC. I didn't quite catch who picked up the Rift Herald. It might have been Solary. I think Joko's the one who ended up walking away with it. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. Viego passive, he's different champions, you know. But the point is, you do give away more kills than you were hoping for. Saving grace ends up being Solary, get the Rift Herald. If they can make a big play with this one, probably in the mid lane, get some extra plates into your Cassidy is probably ideal.
We'll see it one more time. The Petrifying Gaze really setting up a lot of the CC here right off the bat.
That's right. I mean, Keo, he didn't get to participate. He didn't do anything. And to be fair, after that ultimate, neither did Aika. But they played this one really nice, played it from range. Ragnar playing his life really well here and was able to pick up multiple kills. We talk about scaling, Austin. Well, Gangplank, level 7, picking up a handful of kills. All I'm saying is I'm missing pinging.
And while Steelback ends up dropping here as well, so Ragnar just got a whole lot stronger, and now, of course, we'll feel a little bit better about losing that flash earlier to Keo, but right back into the action. Ragnar has actually been dove successfully as Solary have sent 4 of their members to the top side.
That is a big commitment, and they have Azza in the mid lane as well, trying to just catch what amount of that wave he can, but ultimately, this is an interesting one. I didn't expect them to go ahead and drop it into the top lane. I mean, the fact that Keo, I think, has been doing really well in the laning phase, I figured you'd want to extend that as long as possible and keep this turret up, because once we talked about it last game, you get Gangplank out of the laning phase, you start pushing in the wave, he gets to just farm it up, relax, kick back. He likes that a lot. So, unless Solary accelerate really hard, might not be worth it.
2, 3.
One more?
4.
Okay.
Deadly Flourish, Azza showing us that he's been practicing a little bit here on the Jhin, as all 4 shots with the curtain call will certainly force Ica out of the lane.
Now you got this next dragon up and available. Solary probably going to have priority on that one, especially with Solary's support being a level up, having access to that solar flare, LDLC. Don't have much choice but to back off, especially with their Ezreal still coming back from base. So they're just going to walk away for the most part. Really strong early game coming through from Solary. First with that first Dragon Steal, securing the Herald, and another dragon.
2 dragons so far. It is going to be a Cloud Soul, so I'm sure maybe not the happiest is Solary, knowing that they could have had their hands at a couple others, but either way, they have been able to at least start stacking themselves up. A lot of additional damage now will be packed into all of their kits going forward. But that goal, we come back to it, still only about 400-500 differential right now in favor of Solary. Scarlet looking to try to get something done on the side lanes. This is where we start to see the Kassadin thrive. And he's got some teammates with him. Azza still does not have the curtain call, but Doss, if he goes a little too far here, might have to use the ultimate. Deadly Flourish locks him down, and now the Unbreakable will be forced out. On the slow chase is going to be Solary. We'll see the re-engage with the Zenith Blade. A lot of damage back on a seal back, and now the flash over the wall. Doss gets to safety. Yike takes down the support, and they will be punished as LDLC find the pick.
Doss's will proves unbreakable as he manages to just survive long enough for the team to show up. Yike, okay?
Oh, Yike is going to be maybe in a bit of trouble. Ica is also here. Joko looking for resets, and they will be able to find the kill. So a long extended 1-for-1 as Solary come back through on the collapse.
Definitely not ideal. I think you walk away happy with that one if you're LDLC, and instead you give away a shutdown. Not just a kill, Austin, a shutdown to Joko on this Viego, who's continuing to accelerate himself, scale up. He's up 10 camps. He's up a bit of gold just because of these kills and shutdowns he's been able to pick up. He's in a really strong position at the moment here. And then look at the rest. Keo is playing Aurelia. He's got the Bork. Austin, full build. You know the joke. We're just going to get it right through it. Scarlet is getting close to item number 1. Could be looking for the Everfrost so he can stay on top of people. Could be looking for that Crown of the Shattered Queen that we already see Aika purchasing.
Ragnar's in a really tough spot right now, and you can obviously see that by the way that Keo's been able to play this matchup. He's calling for assistance. Doss has come up. The wave is in an awful position, meaning that he's got to kind of take the time to move into the river, set up some vision to make sure that no one else is trying to make a play around him. So very hesitant in this top lane as Doss is going to go back to try to play around Exakick, who might be looking at taking a reset here. But, well, no neutral objectives to fight for on the map. It's just a lot about getting this additional farm, which is fantastic for a lot of the players right now in the lobby, wanting to scale up, wanting to see if they can get to some of those 2-3 item power spikes that are going to be coming in the mid game. And it looks like Ragnar is forced to use the ultimate again, but Keo's just going to continue to freeze it.
Right, it's just still, man, this is a really tough position to be in here for LDLC, I think, at the moment. Even though the gold is pretty even, you got a 700 deficit, doesn't look like a big deal. But if you look at the comps and how later game's going to go for Solary, you need to start making more moves and get ahead of the game. It's even tougher now because now you have these teleports being unleashed. Scarlet has that Everfrost good to go and is getting to that level 11 where that Realm Walk is really, or the Rift Walk rather, is really going to start to hurt here. At this point too, you can see it, Joko, he's got levels on Yike, experience, itemization, the whole shebang, so he is invading. He's got vision. and he's looking to see if he can isolate and take somebody down.
Joko should see DOS coming up to the top side, so a lot of pings are coming down. Steelback can make a rotation. Another fight over the Rift Herald is what might be in the cards here for us, as Keo is continuing to apply pressure, but in the back, Joko has been got out. He's fairly strong, and they realize they can't burst him, and now the turn. Curtain call comes through. DOS is going to be able to soak up a lot of that damage, but now this might mean they can move in for the Rift.
It's going to be a pretty easy pickup for them. It looks like they're just telling Eiko, walk back to the bottom lane, just continue farming it out, because another neutral is going Solary's way. That is all 4 of the 4 we've seen so far going over to Solary. They have just been playing great in this early game, and this is what we want to see. Solary, a team so far who, we look at the players, seeing how they've been playing, we kind of know they have that top-of-the-table potential. And we were thinking that this was going to be a good match to, well, see if they actually had it in them, playing against the #1 team in the league at the moment here going into week 4. And so far, doing great in this early game. Really strong showing so far.
Strong showing so far, 15 minutes into the game. Still around a 1K gold lead right now. Good news here for Solary. Now the setup around the Dragon. This could potentially be soul point right now.
Already.
For Solary, yeah, just 16 minutes in. And LDLC, they're going to put a lot of priority. Start to set up the vision in the river. They got Ica back in the mid lane, but while that happens, you got Scarlet, now level 11, pushing out the bot lane, and now might take a reset here before this fight. We'll see if he can get it off and get back in time.
Doesn't have the teleport.
Oh, they're playing the top.
So, yeah, it's looking like they are playing the top. As you say, they're going to give up this dragon because realistically, giving a dragon to LDLC is not a big deal. Dragon Soul is no longer going to be your win con. By the time you get that, it would be 30 minutes into the game, and we've already established that that is where Solary is going to thrive here. So just being able to trade across the map, get the gold value instead of that neutral value there for the dragon, and just continue to accelerate themselves. You see this gold lead going up 2K now, and you can just see it already. Only tower left in that top lane is the inhibitor turret. Ragnar is farming pretty close to his base.
Yeah, has to be very careful as Joko still out on the map, has access to that Rift Herald. Mid lane could be the target, and that's why you see Yike coming on over. You see DOS immediately sprinting it down mid to go and play around Exakick in case that secondary play did end up coming out. But another tower will go over. LDLC, they'll get the first one of the game down to the bot side.
It is good. Some extra gold into Aka, who is really starting to scale up there. Definitely helps. You don't need to buy the boots. You can just go from item to item as the move speed just increases with level. This is tough now. Scarlet, you can tell he's looking for it. Getting a little aggressive here, but isn't quite looking for anything just yet. And things are just slowing back down again. We got 9 kills thus far, but now for both of these teams who do have a lot of late game prowess, especially Solary, they just want to hang back here and not commit a whole lot. Scarlet is feeling himself a little bit. He just goes over the wall, puts out a little damage.
Yeah, that Rift Walk cooldown starting to get shortened more and more at the moment, Beatdown, and
yeah,
it can very much be used to get in, get right back out. Just have to be a little wary of this miasma. You're going to be looking at Ica quite a bit here in this matchup to make sure that he has good placements. And well, we go back to this top side, and Hio is making Ragnar suffer.
Look how
far. He's daring him to come up to this top wave to try to contest it.
It's tough. He knows Yike is on the other side of the map. It's so dangerous for them with no information on Joko. Keo been playing great this game here against the #1 team in the standings at the moment. And Solary overall, again, really strong game from them thus far. They don't even have to do anything at this point. And you can see Scarlet's doing the same thing. It's clearing very slowly, forcing members in the side lane overall to overcommit, risk themselves, or throw away a little golden XP. And it seems like the latter is what's being chosen.
Well, Scarlet's on to the play, and they are not going to find an angle on the Kassadin, who's going to be very safe. Scarlet's going to be able to clear out some of the vision here, and, well, putting pressure on the Kassadin, not always going to be successful. Just too much respect here from Scarlet, always understanding the positioning. And now back to the mid lane we'll go. Solary have access to this Rift Trail that's running out, and Joko might just be forced to drop it here pretty soon.
For all our talk about support jungle, top laners, everything like that, it's coming down to the mids in this game. Aka, like you said, has to really play this one well because of the miasma and being able to lock down members like Scarlet. Scarlet, of course, on one of his signature picks, just continuing to do what he does. A player who People are
Solar
saying, oh,
Flare,
hold on.
Deadly Flourish. Doss can soak it up. So the plates do
Still
come
has
down.
ult.
They'll find at least a little bit more gold in their pocket if they can take down the tower, but it's only going to be the damage, nothing else. Everyone else is going to be forced to try to back away here, take some resets. They just wanted to get good use of it and make sure that Shelly was able to come through with the push.
Yeah, you're at this point where that turret doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion. It's low enough health that it isn't as much
All
protection
security.
as you might hope. Yeah, it is. No joke, yeah. Like, you get to this point, too, where a dive is coming, you think, oh, okay, I'm just going to sit under this turret. What if Kyo shows up? He autos that thing twice, it's gone. There's no turret plays, there's no damage reduction. Like, it's over. So, good use of that Herald, and you just have Scarlet again in the side lane, getting pretty close to the point where he might want to make a play onto Ica.
Solary have been slowly building up the scroll lead, almost 2,000 now. We're a minute away from what will be our 4th dragon of the game. Kyo's going to take a reset, and he might be very close to that second item here as well. You just saw Joko pick it up. He's now going to be a lot tankier with the Sterix Gauge in the middle of the fight, finding those resets and doing what they possibly can. But there is a lot of vision, deep vision actually, in fact, in this red quadrant. You can see some pings coming down. Great tracking, great information. Joko is going to be in a little bit of trouble, but it looks like no engage from Doss. Can't get there in time. Exakick's just going to poke him out a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely helps having that true shot barrage. Cooldown reduced every time you land a Q, and at this point, I think Solar are at a point where they could give up another dragon. They could literally let this go, continue to put their focus on another part of the map here, because 2 dragons for LDLC, especially Cloud Drakes, and what the buffs they give now, it's honestly not that huge of a deal. Solary can just continue pressuring mid, pressuring top. You see Ragnar probably gets this, and that's why he's hanging around top, taking the Krugs for when he's at a safe spot to actually farm the wave.
2 items now for Ica, and he'll shred this dragon, and I think they're just going to let him do it solo. That'll probably be the play, as long as Azza doesn't throw out a random Deadly Flourish or open up with the ultimate, then that should be secured. And again, as you call it, Joko's just going to go searching, seeing if he's going to be able to take anything away in the top side. There'll be no trade onto the Baron, and there is the second dragon of the game to be able to tie up the first 2 there for Solary.
Yeah, big respect being played by Ragnar. Recalling long before Joko can find anything here, but no punish onto the jungler of Solary either. So you're in a position now where LDLC, you don't have that much vision on the map. It's tough. The only turret you've actually managed to take it is that bottom one. Joko, of course, being that stiff breeze, that's going to take this turret out of the picture here, and there you go. He's just going to go ahead and walk out. 3rd turret there for Solary. Okay, Exakick feeling himself a little bit.
It's 2 items.
Yeah.
Working on a 3rd. This is where we saw it was Jeskla take over
That's
yesterday on the Ezreal. Started basically 1v9ing, Arcane shifting forward, Mystic Shots started just chunking 1/4 of their HP, but a TP has come through. It is going to be on Vision, so they're going to know that this is going to be started up, and Joko should be able to get here in time. Azza has opened up with the ultimate, and yeah, you called it. Exakick gets out there with the flash,
big,
but it might have taken them off. Here's
oh,
the
here we go.
Doss has set up the fight here with the headbutt pulverized. Steelback is now going to have to flash over the wall. Team very low for Solary. Deadly Flourish comes out, just going to lock and root up 1, but no one is going to drop.
What a team call from Solary to not have Scarlet teleport. He had the option to join this fight if they really wanted to, but they said, no, keep pushing. We're going to find our way out of this one. What does that mean? All this alone time in the bottom lane. He's going to be able to pressure this turret. Maybe with Ragnar showing up, he can't take it. Or maybe he can. The problem is he actually might be in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't realize.
Yeah, he's committing for the tower here. It is a tier 2, so it's 600 gold, but over the wall. And hello, there's a yike. There's an Exakick. And that is going to be a kill over to the 80 carry of LDLC.
Yeah, it's a big play now. 4 versus 5 if they want to make something for the Baron. 35 seconds. We're seeing the teleports come through. Doss is getting 1v1. They're making the play.
Yeah, Joko separated from his team.
There it is.
As well will be locked down, and yike takes down the kill. Joko on the run, on the retreat, has to flash away. Jungler still alive, but no flash, no ultimate. I don't know if you're getting in this pit.
Yeah, I mean, he stole the first dragon, which was a big deal, but I don't see that one coming through. It's going to be on Azza, if anybody at all. Really great punish from Yike, moving his way all the way to that bottom lane. This trade, Scarlet, unfortunately wasn't worth it.
Baron secured. LDLC back in control, now going to shorten that gold lead to just 1,000. As we'll just see the camps cleaned up here, but a good position to be in, and now we'll see them come back out onto the map and see how they're going to be able to utilize this Baron.
Yeah, and that was a really big move coming through from LDLC, especially big from Exakick, just making sure that he can live after all these ultimates are thrown at him and manage to buy a lot of value in these team fights. Things like the Vanguard's Edge, the Curtain Call, they're valuable for Solary in these team fights for all their scaling they have and damage they're going to do later in the game. So getting those out at crucial moments is going to be important. And now it gives you all this pressure. Now DOS can start hex slashing over walls, and if anybody's in that W range, you know he's just going to full send.
Well, 1-3-1 is what they're going to opt into right now, but LDLC, they'll happily take this moment to find another tower. Tier 2 is going to go down. They have a caddy still able to apply some pressure here, but I mean, Scarlet is going to be pushing into the base as well as Keo. We'll see exactly what the trades are going to look like.
Yeah, this one's going to be tough. The next wave is coming. You got to imagine it's probably going to be Inhib for maybe Inhib. Wait a second.
Dykes went all in. Acid, though, flashes right away. Defensively, will hold on to his life. So, LDLC, they break open the base, but still a lot of damage here on the towers. We'll see if they can try to find some towers of their own. Joko has to use the Heartbreaker to get himself out. DOS going back in, but it's on the seal back. Fairly tanky. Will be able to back away with ease. Everyone now looking for the re-engage as it's LDLC a little bit split up. DOS too far forward. That's going to be a kill, and Joko will claim it.
Ultimately, you trade one tower and an Inhib for 2 turrets. It's tough. A good amount of gold into Solary's pockets, but the recalls come in time to stop the actual Inhibs from going down. I think ultimately, you're pretty happy overall just because you had the Baron. You were always going to win that push, and I like that aggression from Yike, saying, hey, look, if we get some picks, we can try and maybe threaten an end here or something along those lines because they're still pushing in the side lane. It's going to be tough now. This Dragon is going to be soul point for whoever picks it up. And you got to imagine, I think at this point, neither team are too interested in it. Like Solary all game long, they've been letting the Dragons go after the first 2, trying to make plays on other parts of the map. LDLC, they've just been trying to buy themselves time by not allowing Dragons to stack too early here. So I think because it's the only thing up, both teams might end up going for it. And you can see with this Baron buff, LDLC have managed to push out all of their waves pretty effectively. And of course you have mid, which is going to perma push. I think this Dragon will easily go their way.
It will be the 3rd Cloud, and as much as we talk about the Cloud Dragon maybe not being the most enticing of the bunch, 3 Dragons are certainly going to add up for something like a Cannon Barrage. Certainly something going to be useful for DOS at the front of the line here with the Unbreakable Will. And all of those cooldowns now going to find some more reduction. As the 3rd one is claimed, will be LDLC. Now let's set up the push in the bot lane, but no longer have the Baron. We'll see if they can just try to siege.
Should be able to take at least this turret here, and you see Aka's recalling so that he can try and answer this push from Scarlet. Means it won't be anything lost for it. You still have a lot of pressure if you are an LDLC, and you can see they've managed to really find their way back into this game. I like this from Aka. He's trying to see if Scarlet will walk up real close. He lands the miasma. Oh, but he didn't get him.
Yeah, just trying to predict the Rift Walk there ahead of time.
That would have been
nutty. Even on top of it, Exit kick back to see, hey, are you trying to 1v1 my mid laner here, buddy? If so, I'm going to be here to make sure that I will find the kill on even the odds a little bit, but doesn't happen. Smart play from Scarlet. We'll be able to back all the way up. Rift Walk probably another 10 times there as he goes all the way back to his mid lane, has the blue buff, so makes it a little easier for him to be able to do so. So everything, again, slowing down. Baron's going to be in 2 minutes. Won't have that soul for about 4 minutes here, so a lot of it's just going to be about setting up the side lanes, and there are still plenty of towers to be able to take. You can already see in the top lane, Ica, we'll see if he can get some work done at least on one of the tier 1s there in the top side.
Yeah, it has been interesting. The tier 1 turret has been up the whole game. It actually has cost a good bit of gold and XP from Solary, just because of how easily they're able to throw away a lot of those minions. But ultimately, I think it's about time now they pick up some of that standing gold on the map. In doing so, LDLC will actually even themselves up in terms of gold value here total. You can see it coming through now. About even, LDLC actually slightly ahead. And they're still in a position where they have all of their lanes pushing here. So it's tough for Solary to walk out of their base. Yes, they're fine losing the Dragon, but look what's up in a minute 20. That next Baron. And that can be LDLC's way to get to this end game. We hype Solary for how good they are at late game team fights, how good this comp is for how well it scales. But LDLC, they are the kings of late game team fighting right now in the LFL.
They are. They certainly are indeed, and they are so good at getting themselves back into games where they fall behind in the early game. Here's another example where they're a few thousand gold behind, and now they are slightly ahead while also even. Scarlet waiting for someone to jump into that wave. He's level 16 now, so this is where the Kassadin becomes Cast-to-Win and starts to find a lot of favor in that 1v1. But you can see a lot of respect here, a lot of MR being picked up with the Spectre's Crowl from Ica just to make sure he's going to be able to survive and sustain a little bit more if Scarlet decides to take the fight, and he might.
Oh, that's why the ward there is real nice. He's looking for it, though. Feels good about his chances, so Scarlet actually ends up backing off. You have both mids, both having teleport. So they're staying in this bottom lane, but it's looking like Scarlet might walk his way out before. Either way, this is just the Baron start right away. It's not actually up yet, but you have all the pressure in your favor. You could look to start it out after you clear this next mid wave.
Last time, LDLC did an excellent job of making sure that Joko had no shot at being able to get into that pit. And they took a favorable fight before the Baron start happened. Joko gets spotted there. Wind becomes lightning, but the barrel combo a little bit short there on the second one. And also important to note that Ragnar has been able to get to a point where he has a lot of crit now. So he will deal a decent amount of damage, but Scarlet is going to walk right past Ica. Ica wants to take the 1v1. That might make Scarlet think there could be a second as he's going to go in. He's on the miasma, and well, that's a beautiful Danyas. That will stop the petrifying gaze, but now Scarlet in so much trouble. Ica looking for the solo. The cannon barrage comes down, but Scarlet gets out with his life.
Man, insane coming through. Oh my god, even the true shot barrage doesn't end up hitting him here. Exakick. Arcane shifting forward, they have the range, they want to look.
Scarlet's not here, Joko is trying to find a window in. Doss has eaten a lot of damage, but now Keo into the backline. Exakick under threat, under pressure, the flash from Keo.
The healing!
Looking for the kill, he's able to find one, but it's Ragnar who gets one back. Big shot there from Azza as he's able to find a second. The setup, the deadly flourish, that's the fight. Massive turnaround in the mid lane from Solary.
And massive play coming out from Keo, the player we wanted to see more from. Well, he's shown it to us in spades. Solary win the fight. LDLC are forced away. This could be the Baron for Solary. And LDLC, all they can do is watch as Aka's the only member on the map.
Baron started up, and that very well should be the big purple worm in the pockets of Solary. They have taken that goal lead right back into their favor. This is just going to add on top of it. But man, oh man, we talked about Keo being that player that hasn't always stepped up. But how about the moment there, finding Exakick, taking the Ezreal out of the fight beatdown?
That's the thing. That's the difference between the last Baron and this Baron. Exakick getting taken out here. And they see the opportunity. They say, okay, you want to arcane shift forward? All right, that's a long cooldown. And as soon as the opportunity comes through, watch Keo. He's queuing through. The blade surges are coming, and that's it. Once he flashes to stay on top of Exakick, max Ionian Fervor stacks, you know that that 80 carry is dead to rights. And after Scarlet TP's back in, you guys saw the rest. It was done and dusted.
Beautiful fight coming through. Scarlet even there to reinforce just in case it got a little too close for comfort. But while we swap back, it looks like LDLC do manage to get themselves the soul. So Glad Soul going to be completely theirs. On top of that, they've gotten all four of them, so they have a lot of cooldown reduction. At least to come through with the ultimates, might be able to see Ragnar set up some more potential plays. But this is going to put a lot of pressure on LDLC either way. They are kind of stuck in their base for the time being, as this Baron still has 2 minutes left.
And back and forth this game has gone, and Solary looking like it is back in their favor. Now, just like that, when they were even on the side of LDLC, Solary have gotten themselves up 4,000 gold. It's a really dangerous spot to be in here for LDLC. The Cloud Soul, I think, is actually a pretty big deal for them, just because, I mean, you got a lot of people who are very ultimate dependent here, and getting that 50% move speed buff is very intense. So it could help with LDLC's team fighting, and they're going to need all the help they can get at this point with how much damage Solary are dishing out. Multiple lanes being threatened. In fact, it is all three as LDLC scramble to defend their base.
Scarlet, he has spotted out Doss, and
wait a
we'll be able to find some damage, but Scarlet's going to be safe. And that is just going to be a couple of trading back and forth. But mid lane, yike, he does eat the Solar Flare. The 1-3-1 now turning 2-2-1 as Joko comes up to Keo, forces out the ultimate here from Ragnar. So no more Cannon Barrage, and the tower in the mid lane also getting incredibly low.
So nothing has been lost yet. Ragnar doing a good job at holding two members back. Ultimately, nothing taken yet. At this point now, Doss, he's walking around these lanes. He's looking for opportunities to see if he can catch somebody out here. And it's going to be on him. A lot of pressure to be able to isolate somebody not named Scarlet because Cassidy.
DOS goes in, setting up the play. Scarlet has the Rift walk away. Can Solary cut this one out? The answer going to be yes, but LDLC making sure that they don't lose anything else.
There it is, their support. Big engage threat for LDLC, managing to hold Solary at bay, but it isn't enough. You can't, again, the name has to not be Scarlet. He can get away from the Alistar engage unless there is immediate follow-up here with the miasma or something like that, and I think that's going to be the key to some of these team fights. DOS going in, Aka following up immediately, and with that flash coming up very soon, he might start to feel a little more confident about how he's going to position himself in these team fights. Could press a little bit more forward. Look for that W to match the Alistar combo, because at this point, it is going to be about the Wombo combo for LDLC.
3 minutes away, coming in on the Elder. Won't have a Baron for a while, but Scarlet might be trying to threaten one of the inhibitors at the back. That one will spot him, so they'll know exactly where he is, which means that they'll be able to respond accordingly. Even Yike backing up just in case Ragnar needs additional assistance, which he probably would. But on that same note, the Infinity Edge has also been picked up. So now Ragnar can look for a couple more of these barrel combos. They are going to start dealing a just ridiculous amount of damage. We've seen them before. You have this Cassiopeia, who's also has the luxury of actually being able to utilize the passive right now. Yeah. Not always do you get to do it, and not always do we get to see it, but having now a pot giving additional AP as well, knowing that this next fight likely going to determine the game.
That's right, the elixirs are coming through. What remaining people that can use stopwatch are also pulling through. One on Ika, one on Keo. Stasis is going to be a big part of this next team fight. We're going to see, and I think it's going to all come down to what small advantages people can get in the side lane. You're going to see Scarlet try and do a little bit of splitting, Keo doing a little bit of splitting, but I think they know it's just about keeping these waves forward. They aren't going to get anything structure-wise with this play because it's all about the Elder Dragon. That's where this game is going to be decided. It's coming up in 2 minutes.
Pushing out through mid now, LDLC trying to take some control back out on the map. Joko has went in. He will eat up a bit of this damage. Deadly Flourish comes out, locks down both of the junglers. But Joko takes the worst of the trade. As we'll see the curtain call come out, DOS is going to be able to dodge out on some of it. Last shot actually does hurt him a little bit. So now we'll be forced to at least reset, go back to base, and heal back up.
I like this LDLC. They're looking. Whatever angles they think they may have, they are going to try and take them. Haven't been able to force out very much of anything. You do get Keel's teleport, which is a big deal. It does limit his side laning capabilities just a bit. But beyond that, everybody's going to be grouped up really soon, Austin, so it may not even matter. Before the Elder buff is up, we got Dragon also in 30... we got Elder 30 seconds... I'm going to try this again. We got Baron 30 seconds before we have that Elder Dragon. There's so much on the map to play for very, very soon. And right now, Solary, they're just doing what little bit of farming they can. Get to the... maximum power spikes because game-ending objectives are about to be on the Rift.
Oh, the League of Legends better right now, beat down. You go late and the death timers get absurd. One death here, probably looking closer to about 50 seconds at the moment, if not a minute here real soon. So staying alive, not getting picked, playing perfectly. Not always the easiest, but necessary for both of these teams to come out with a dub here on day 2 of week number 4. And now the Baron has spawned yet again. Solary, they're going to be here first. They're positioning like they want to start it right away, and that's what they're going to do.
It's tough. Scarlet still has TP. He's not in the area. You can see it. DOS and Yike are there. I think they want to play for the steal. They have 2 pinks. They know.
Yike could go in. The TP coming in the backline right now from Scarlet. Baron is low. The solar flare is out.
Nice.
And Solary have taken down the Baron, but seal back in the mix of it. Yike has to flash away. The resets now for Viago. Joko has taken down one. Keo looking for his moment again.
Aka's big. Aka's big.
But Exit Kick is still alive. 2 players down for LDLC. Ika has to flash over the wall. Will they be able to kite this one out? They are still on the wrong side of the map, and Solary still have access to the Baron.
This could very well be the game here. Scarlet is looking to end. They know LDLC have to play for the Elder, so it's going to be an easy inhibitor for the mid laner of Solary as they look to potentially close things out here.
There's no wave. It is just resets. DOS,
he's done.
Joko, he's fishing for a kill. He's going to leave the Elder to his team. DOS is going to try to buy a bit more time here, and Joko needs to go over and make sure that I secure it. but I think his teammates are going to be able to grab it. So
Oh,
no
that's
true
why.
shot barrage was up. Scarlet grabs the kill. The Elder now in play as Das will fall.
Solary have everything they need to take down the #1 team in the standings. We talk about top of the table potential. Well, I think they're here, Austin. They are reaching for the top shelf, and they are going to grab LDLC right off of it.
#1 team in the LFL might find their second loss. Solary could give it to them here in Nice. What an opportunity it could be here for this squad that started off 0-2 in week 1 and now finding their bearings, finding their calling as they've looked much cleaner, much stronger, and now they set up their push once again into the base.
This is going to be it. Ragnar, like you said, those barrel combos do be hitting. But the thing is, once Solary get on top of you, how many combos can you set up? LDLC. I've said this a couple of times now, but I really mean it this time. This could very well be the last stand. You have Elder, you have Baron, Solary are so close.
Steelback is going to get chunked down to about 30% HP, but now we'll see some damage come back. The curtain call, this one being dodged out, but that almost procced Elder. The minions are coming in too, but Das will be able to retreat. However, this opens up all the inhibitors. Solary have everything they want. Now it's just 2 Nexus Towers standing in front of the win.
This is going to be a last chance, LDLC. Whatever you got in the tank, let us see it. Ultimate's good to go. Oh, there's the solar flare.
Exit kick, uses the cleanse, keeps himself alive. Vanessa takes down Ragnar. Top laner out of the fight. That's kiting there from Scarlet. Yike goes in, tries to zone away Solary, but they've lost 1 Nexus Tower.
Here comes.
Will they lose the second? Aikyo looking for the big play as Petrifying Gaze uses the miasma, coming down with a bit of DPS here. Zenith Blade goes wide, but the Nexus now going to be exposed. Keo getting resets. Yike is low. No ultimate to keep him safe. Scarlet for 1.
This is
Scarlet
it.
for 2. Aika left all alone, and there is the third. Solary take down the #1 team in the LFL.
Solary showing us they are here to play. It's not just about playoffs, it's about the regular season. And we wanted Keo to show up. Austin, he shows up on land.